Hypothalamus artificial intelligence. Digital transformation powered by real-time autonomous and intelligent algorithms. Shows. Optimization opportunities in smart sports. Hi, Cisneria and Gurobi invite you to visit their stand during the Latin American Ports Congress to be held in Santos, Brazil, at the end of November 2022. One of the needs that must be met to have a sustainable world, that can cope with the problems arising from an increasingly large world population, are sustainable ports. To achieve this, three fundamental problems must be faced. First, energy efficiency, integrated analysis of minimizing the cost of energy supply and minimizing environmental impact. It is a bi-criterion problem, since the two minimizations move in opposite directions. It implies redesign of the energy supply chain to the port and its ecosystem, including all available power technologies. Simulation of the optimal integrated operation of port operations and energy supply. Implementation of a smart grid to handle integrated port operations and energy supply planning and scheduling. Second, port region integration, integrated analysis, through a regional planning model, of the relations between the port and the region, to develop actions on the territory that improve the quality of life in the port region ecosystem. It implies implementation of a regional planning model that includes the impact of the port in the region. Analysis of the main port region problems. Third, environmental control of the water port ecosystem, integrated analysis of the pollution processes of water bodies and determination of the actions that must be taken to maintain the ecosystem environmentally sustainable. It implies implementation of a finite elements pollutant dispersion model in the aquatic system. Implementation of an optimization model that integrates an optimization algorithm with the simulation of contaminant dispersion. Remote information capture to project the boundary conditions of the body of water, in space and time. Commercial operations optimization opportunities. Global capacity shortage. Capacity shortages are evident in many of the container terminals at major seaports. Some of the main reasons for this are the continuous increase in the number of containers around the world and the increase in the size of ships in both production and use. For example, capacity shortages accelerate congestion at seaports and increase costs and delays for shipping lines, terminal operators, transport companies and carriers. Due to the problem of capacity shortages, large container ships can only visit a limited number of ports. Capacity shortages increases the transport costs of specific port routes, and therefore, other less congested ports become more attractive to users. Customer value. In a customer-driven market, the focus is primarily on the perceived customer value of the entire relationship with a company rather than on the product or service. The importance of client value is oriented to maintain a long-term relationship. Customer value is an important factor in determining the type of supply chain needed to serve customers, and the type of services to retain them. A company seeking competitive advantage must clearly understand its customers' perceptions of value and the product attributes they demand. Perceptions of value differ between customer segments that a company must identify, because they are important to its long-term success, and adjust its ability accordingly to deliver value to these segments. Port pricing. The level and transparency of prices are decisive in the choice of supply chain and mode of transport by shippers. Port pricing structures are related to the cost of port of call charges, freight handling fees, and congestion charges. The current practice of port pricing is based on a linear structure, and does not incorporate modern pricing tools, such as price differentiation or revenue management. The complexity of current port pricing schemes is striking. The focus on port operations, operation and competitiveness has increased in recent times, as a result of tougher competition in trade and transport, high alternative costs of coastal areas, high infrastructure costs of ports, and the policy of moving cargo transport off congested roads towards the sea and the railway. Other optimization opportunities to use operation research methodologies are regional planning, including detailed port operations, Regional planning optimization models may be integrated with detailed models of aggregated port operations to quantify the impacts of port region decisions, in order to carry out integrated planning that maximizes the welfare generated and guarantees the sustainability of development plans. An example of an opportunity to use advanced mathematical models is the SUPAIR, Sustainable Ports in the Adriatic-Ionian Region, that is a project that responds to such challenge by improving the ability of port authorities to assess the negative externalities caused by their port operations, and to plan and implement measures to become a sustainable port in a sustainable region. VIEW Venice International University coordinates the realization of the action plans, promoting solutions identified by the port authorities, aimed at reducing the environmental impacts of shipping and onshore port operations of 7 ports in the region. Each port focused on specific areas of interest that cover different fields of action. Among them, clean energy investment and use of renewable energy resources, diagnosis of energy performance of port buildings, revitalization of green spaces, recycling plan for a sustainable port, measurement of noise at the border between the city and the port, increase the use of green transport modes, design of a smart traffic management tool, deployment of an onshore power supply system, study of underwater flows and water quality in ports basins, and monitoring the GHG and air pollutant emissions produced by vessels traffic. Like Herbert Simon, Hypothalamus AI believes that the computer-based mathematical modeling is the greatest invention of all times. Thank you for your attention.